Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. In this video, we're going to take a look at a simple but new addition to the style group. If you're not familiar with the style group, this is a set of tools that allow you to make interesting shapes using just a spline. And depending on your use case, you can really speed up your workflow. So let's head over to the computer here and go ahead and take a look at how to go about this. Now in your setup here on the screen, you're going to have your toolbar at the top. Now if you see this little S shape, but really that's just the shape of a spline, what you want to do is go ahead and click on that. Now in your scene, you're going to get something called a curve mesh that is created. Now I've had another video that kind of walks through this, but I'll take a quick dive through it. So you have your style here, and you have your type, and you have your volume, and then under the type section, you have your base type. You have your cat mule rom, your line, your Bezier line, and your B-spline. So these are all different ways you can kind of manipulate the spline itself, which is really great. Now below that, you also have this closed option. So you can actually close that off if you want. Great. Now the next thing underneath that is you have the insert. So if you click on insert, you're like in an insert mode, and you can click on this and you can actually add different points. And if you click on a point and you hit delete, you can remove those points as well, which is great. All right, so that's just a quick run through of this here, and be sure to check out the other video that kind of walks through this process. All right, so next to that in the style section, you have the volume, and in this volume here, you have different profile types. You have the point, you have the disc, curve mesh, mesh, quad, and the new addition that we're going to talk about briefly today is the asset. Now before with mesh, it required you to assign a mesh to this, but that didn't allow you to have a texture. It was just the mesh. But we have a new update where you can actually use an actual game object or your asset for this. All right, so let's go ahead and play with this. So what I'm going to do here, if you have an asset, we have this asset here. It's like an apple here, which is really great. And we have a few other objects here as well, but we'll play with the apple first. So what I'm going to do is select my curve mesh here, and I'm going to click and drag this apple into this point here, just like so. And as you can see, we have a set of apples that are going in a line here along this spline. Now, if we want, we can kind of rotate this. So right now it's kind of that way. So if we want, we can rotate the spline by going into the object mode. So to do that, you select the curve and you select the cube icon here. So you don't want to select this. This is edit mode. We want to go in the object mode, and then we can just rotate this just like that. And so that's how you can actually go ahead and get that kind of set up that way. And then what we do is go back in the edit mode, and we can actually adjust these points using our mouse, and we can actually create all types of interesting things with this. So if we wanted a set of apples doing a particular thing, we can do that. Now if you hit the W key on your keyboard, you get your little tangents. You can go that way. Now this is facing up. If I go into this mode here, I'll just kind of do it this way. We can have that facing upward. Now our apples are upside down. So let's go ahead and play with the direction. So we're on -Z. We can go +Z, turn our apples up so that looks a little better. And so now we can continue to do that. And of course you can change even more with +X. You can do +Y that turns them like in a long way right there. And then if you go negative, it just goes in a different direction, but we'll just go +Z for now. And we'll just go ahead and move these around. So I'll just go ahead and select these points here, go back in edit mode, select these points, and we can move them. So this is a really neat way to kind of create, I guess, a bunch of apples, and you can do a lot more with this. You can kind of move this way. Say you have a bunch of apples that you want to kind of put together. Remember, we can go back here and add some inserts. We can also still change the type of curve that we're using. We can do a close if you want. I'm going to go ahead and insert some points here, and we can continue to edit this as needed. So if I want to, I can kind of do that and kind of select this. So this is just a neat way to add more assets to your scene if you want to do that. Maybe you have a fence that you modeled and you can use that fence to kind of align itself along the spline, which is really nice. And so we can go there. Now going back to volume, there's lots of other things we can do. For instance, we have mesh deform, so we can turn that off to where it doesn't deform the mesh. So you can see here our apple is kind of deforming based on that. But if we don't want that, we can just have it, you know, keep its shape. We can do array count auto. We can change the amounts. That's not gonna do that, but we can change the spacing if we want. We can make it really tight. It really depends. You can change the scale if you want as well. It's really up to you, but this is just a neat way to be able to move this around. So now we have more apples here, and we can just kind of create a bundle of apples, which is kind of cool without having to actually create a huge duplicate of this. And so now if we want, we can also do this. Take these here, we can bring these up to kind of straighten everything out, just like so. And so now our apples are kind of upside down. What I'm gonna do is kind of change it on the negative, and we can flip it around a little bit. So that's great. And again, you can just change the array amount. You can do all types of different things. It's really just up to you in terms of your spacing. So if you have more apples in this little group, great. And so if you want to click here again, go back here, we can do an insert, put a little point there, move that group of 3 apples there. And of course, the longer it is, you can fit more into this place. So I'm going to add some more apples here. Great. So you can kind of use this in interesting ways. I think it's pretty cool that this happens. And yeah, so this is one way, but this is a great addition to this tool set to be able to add assets on your line here. So now that we have these apples kind of using our spline, and we've kind of gotten it the way that you would want you to kind of align your apples or whatever object you're using on your spline, how would you actually convert this and use this maybe in your game or your project? Now, of course, while you're developing your project, you can kind of leave it like this, and that's completely fine. But if you actually want to kind of get it to a mesh component, all you need to really do is you have this selected just like this. All you have to do is right click on the object, go to UModeler X and UModelize. And what you're doing is ultimately turning this into a full-fledged mesh. And now you can actually use these apples in the shape or the object shape that you prefer. It's pretty straightforward and easy to do. Now, of course, if you want to remove UModeler from this, you can use the mesh tools up here in the top left, and you can hit delete UModelize component. It will remove it, and now you have a bundle of apples that you can use for whatever use case you prefer. Great. Well, I hope that was useful. It's a quick tip, and it's a nice new addition to using UModeler X in the new style group. And I would love to see what you guys are doing. I'll see you guys in the next video.